Kenny's in trouble. He's going to run. He's going to get the first down.
Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time.
The Pitt Panthers have pulled a stunning upset over the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Semple Fi Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mason Kling and Kent Vanderwood. Before we get started tonight, I think we do have to get ahead of the news and announce something, that we are sorry for Kent's appearance at Met Gala earlier this week. He showed up fully nude with Sean Clifford's face as nipple pasties. So if you'd like to issue a formal apology, Kent, now is the time to do it.
Hey, bro, what?
It's called fashion. It's called fashion.
It's called fashion. Ever heard of it?
I suppose we will not be sorry. We will not be apologizing to the haters and losers out there. But, well, Kent, other than that fiasco, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good. That really threw me off, but I'm pretty good.
Listen, I got to keep you on your toes, man.
Crazy that Sean Clifford was drafted. That's all I'm going to say about the Sean Clifford stuff.
We're going to get to the draft later, but Mason, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. I was actually back in Pittsburgh this weekend for the Luke Combs concert. I feel like I'm still kind of recovering from that, but it was a good weekend, so I'm excited to talk some draft stuff. Got to see Kenny Pickett shotgun a beer on stage, man of the people, like we always knew. But yeah, I'm good.
Question for you: do you think you could beat Kenny Pickett in a shotgun contest?
Based off his showing on stage, yeah, like it wasn't as good as a shotgun as I would think. I don't know.
I remember correctly that Luke Combs did beat him, correct, and fairly handily.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it was
to be expected.
No, yeah, he's a bit of a unit. You expect him to win the shotgun, but I don't know. That's also a thing. Like, do you want your quarterback winning shotgun contests, or do you want your lineman winning shotgun contests? I guess it's not a bad thing to have both.
I think college quarterback, you want a shotgun winner, and then your NFL quarterback, he's got to pass the torch down to the lineman. I think that's the system you got to work on there.
Yeah. And
now that we've done our introductions, we actually have some big news, and not me joking around with Kent this time, but as you all know, Tucker Carlson was recently let go from Fox News. The situation is still murky. We'll not be commenting on it, but we are happy to announce that Tucker Carlson has joined us as the permanent fourth mic on Semple Fi Podcast. So, Tucker, how are you doing? It's been a whirlwind week for you. You know, Zach, I'm doing all right. The liberal woke media decided to cancel me from Fox News. My love for the green M&M, her long legs, and everything in her hard shell, her soft insides really got me going. But I needed to sort of branch out and take my mind off the green M&M. So I'm here to talk Pitt football, my favorite team.
Tucker, I do have a question for you since we're talking about Pitt football here. What are your thoughts on the current quarterback situation in Pittsburgh?
So that's a great question, Mason. Narduzzi has stated in the past that the quarterback battle, presumably between Bayer and Jurkovec, is not settled yet. So what's going on here? What's going on? Why don't we know anything about it? Why is my Twitter feed riddled with nervous Jurkovec takes? I think it's because Keaton Slovis left the Panthers fans weary of how Narduzzi will treat his transfer quarterbacks with a starting role. Speaking of, did you see Nick Patty in the Sun Bowl? If he could perform like that in El Paso, then he must have shown some kind of promise behind closed doors, something that Narduzzi of all people should have been able to see. Who made him stick with Slovis all year? Was it the woke mob? Is it perhaps something Freudian at play? I don't have the answers to these questions, but a question I would like answered: does anyone know who keeps leaking Pitt message board content, the premium content? I think it's Antifa at work. Now, gentlemen, thank you for having me on. I do have to go do a show with my new friend, Don Lemon, who is recently released from his contract at CNN. I am officially here changing my name legally to Don Lime. we will be answering the question that is dividing America. Don Lemon and Don Lime, asking the nation,
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Thank you for that extremely insightful input, Mr. Carlson.
it's a shame he had to go so soon, but hopefully we'll have him on for more future episodes. I know his schedule is packed. I mean, it's freer than he was at Fox News. He was sort of working with us behind the scenes. He really wrote a lot of the takes we had. We have a lot to thank him for, but hopefully he'll be joining us throughout the season, and we look forward to it.
Long list of podcasts that Tucker Carlson has done. 1, Nelk Boys. 2, Semple Fi. That I don't know anymore.
Probably been on Rogan, right? I don't even know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right. So, NFL draft. NFL draft. Let's do it. We forgot to do a pre-draft show. Oops. Shit happens. Whatever.
We had some pretty good draft insights with our episode before that. We talked a decent amount about
that's true. That's true.
Where kind of people would go, but now we know where they went, and we can kind of it's draft grade season.
Draft grade. Are we gonna give it a draft grade? I mean, A's to all the teams that took Pitt players, and then maybe D's to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pass fail. It's a pass fail, really.
It's a what, an SU satisfaction?
Yeah.
Unsatisfaction?
Yeah.
All right. Let's start at the top. Night 1, round 1. I was wrong that he was going to be at the draft, but Kalijah Kancey taken number 19 overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is now 2 first-round picks from Pitt in a row and 2 top 20 picks. That is more first-round picks than Penn State and West Virginia combined, because they combined for 0.
Yeah, no. Kancey around mid-round. I was glad he got taken. I feel like Tampa, no beef with Tampa. I can root for him on Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Kenny Pickett to the Steelers for you, Kent, but it'll be one that, unless they're playing your team, like, honestly couldn't be a better fit for him either, going into that very like defense first kind of team anyway. I think he'll fit right in amongst some of those, veteran guys that they have.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I know Todd Bowles probably has not been a great coach sort of in his debut year, but he is a really good defensive coordinator. He's going to know how to use a unique player like Kalijah Kancey, and honestly, just having him be a first-round pick was so huge. I mean, obviously he got all the Aaron Donald comps on draft night, which, is probably a bit unfair to have a comp to a player that's a guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Probably like one of the best defensive players of all time.
Easily one of the best defensive players of all time. It's almost too easy to make that comp, but
it's all there. It's all there. I mean, I love that there were like a bunch of people that were like, he was the steal of this draft, and I could really see it being true. Like 19 is, for the combine that he had and what we saw him do this year, Tampa Bay got a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
A dog. They didn't know who he was. You see that?
That video.
No. What happened? Give me some context here.
So it's like a video of like a Tampa Bay draft party in some bar. They announced the Kancey pick, and everyone's like kind of murmuring. Then you hear this one woman go,
"Who? Who is that?" Everybody's like, "Who's that?"
The fans.
Yeah, the fans.
I got it. I mean, they're casuals. They're not college football guys.
Yeah, they just don't know ball.
Who you might take. I'm sure he was mocked to them a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think mock draft stuff is like that? That to me is sort of, you're getting into diehard territory if you're following mocks. Like the casual fan, I don't know. They might know like the big flashy names like a JSN, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. They get talked about all the time.
You're not getting Bryce Young, Tampa.
Yeah, but I mean, JSN was on the board. I think casuals know, like, the flashy skill position players are like Will Anderson was one of the best players in college football.
Yeah, exactly. They're casuals.
I'm not fighting that point. Not fighting that point.
Anyways,
I
maybe
mean,
I'll learn his name real quick.
yeah,
That is true.
yeah. All I'm saying is a Kalijah Cansey Buccaneers jersey would go dummy.
I saw an edit of him and Servace, who we'll get to, in Bucs jerseys, because there are tons of photos of them just being on the field together. They look great.
Did he pick a number?
I don't know if it got announced.
8?
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool if he. I mean, they can now. So
Yeah. They can, yeah. Because let's see, number. I don't think they announced it yet. I'm not going to scroll through the Tampa Bay Twitter. I don't know if they announced that until like fall camp or maybe rookie camp. I think.
yeah.
Rookie camp.
Rookie camp. Official.
Is Jordan Whitehead still a Buccaneer?
No, he's a Jet.
Oh damn.
Yeah, Jordan Whitehead's a Jet.
Well, I was going to say, you think that has any? What, Kent?
So we got a lot of Panthers on the same teams at this point.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, do you think that having those guys advocating probably can't hurt?
I don't know what they're. I know that the Pitt strength and conditioning coach is a former Tampa Bay guy. He was in the NFL. I don't know if it happened with the Bucs. I think people just knew Cansey was really good. I'm going to be honest. I wanted the Jets to take him at 15. Still not thrilled with the Will McDonald pick. I've kind of coped my way into thinking about it, but I think I would have liked him on the Jets. But either way, first round pick, solid landing spot. Charlie Partridge, thanks for the follow. Best D-line coach in the country.
Dang.
All right. No picks in rounds 2 and 3. Kind of surprising to me, but a lot of guys go off the board day 3. Let's start in New York. The New York Jets selected Carter Warren and Izzy Abanikanda. Personally, I am up huge. I am fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome for me. First off, these two guys are both New York area guys. Izzy is obviously from Brooklyn. Carter lives about, I think, 15 minutes from the Jets practice facility on the Jersey side. He's from Patterson. And I'll be honest, these are guys who, knowing the Jets pretty well, they're going to have a chance to start like pretty early. The Jets have a terrible O-line, so Carter Warren can obviously start. He's a great pass blocker. And then Breece Hall is coming off injury in New York, so if he needs time to recover, Izzy is probably going to see some pretty consistent playing time, as either if Hall is still hurt or if he's like they're easing him back into like being that number one back.
You have any other running backs? I'm trying to think.
Michael Carter, who kind of stinks now.
He'll get touch. He's going to get some touches like pretty early in his career. So
early and probably pretty consistent. I would assume that they're going to try and not make Breece Hall like a feature back. They're probably going to rotate him and Izzy, in and out like that.
Cool. I like that. In general, once we get to the end of the picks, I can.
Well,
about to say.
Question for you about the running backs in this draft. Was he was the third back taken or the fourth back taken? Because
he was the 9th back taken.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because there were a bunch of guys. There were a couple guys who went in round 4, and I think a couple went round 3.
Dude, there was a lot of running backs taken ahead of him.
Ken, is that what kind of prompted your "do people forget this happened" message when he rushed for 6 touchdowns in a game?
Yep. I could not believe he lasted until the 5th round. I was, looking at all the running backs taken ahead of him. Do we have a list?
Yeah, so here we go. Round 1, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs went at pick 8
Fair.
and 12.
Fair.
Bijan is an amazing player. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is really good. I don't know if he was number 12 good, but whatever. Next,
they reached.
Yeah. Next
We're
up,
gonna be like
Zach
Amon
Ertz.
Ra, naming all the receivers taken ahead of him, talking about Izzy.
Yeah, but you can do it with just running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, round 2, pick 52, Zach Charbonnet from UCLA to the Seahawks. Round 3, Kendre Miller out of TCU went to the Saints, as well as Tyjae Spears out of Tulane going to the Titans in round 3. Devin Achane from A&M went to the Dolphins in round 3. Tank Bigsby out of Auburn went to the Jaguars in round 3. Roshan Johnson, the backup running back from Texas, went in round 4 to the Bears. And then you finally get to Izzy, so that's 8 taken before him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the 9th.
It's not even like he had, like, sometimes a player will drop, they had a bad combine or bad pro day, like something like that to make him drop. He just had a crazy good combine and dropped. So be interested to see like what led to that. But honestly, Zach, as a Jets fan, I'd be stoked.
I'm so up. You cannot bring me down off this pick. He is fucking awesome. He fits the scheme really well, and I'm really happy that we got Carter Warren as well because he didn't address tackle in the first 2 rounds. We got a guy who I saw who, when he went down week 4, the O-line definitely took a hit. He was a difference maker at Pitt. He's got to work on his run blocking, but he is such an excellent pass blocker that I could care less. He's protecting Aaron Rodgers. We live. All right. Next. Any other thoughts?
No. Izzy to the hizzy, baby.
Izzy
I was
to his
jealous.
hizzy.
jealous.
I don't know. I have to do my research, but I have to figure out if Warren and Izzy are Jets or Giants fans growing up. So got to think about that. The way Izzy's family responded, I don't know if they care, but they hit that JETS chant like it was second nature. So I'm thinking he grew up a Jets fan.
That's cool. Yeah. No. Jealous of that pick for sure. The Ravens had a couple chances to take him. I was like watching every time, rooting for it. We need somebody else with JK, and Gus, and like, yeah, knew it'd be a steal. So, congrats to the Jets. That's a crazy great pick in round 5.
Also, I mean, when I got the news, I had just come back from like this obstacle course run with my roommate. So I was when I got to my car, I checked, like, oh shit, we took Carter Warren. That's nice. Then I got home and immediately opened the draft tracker, and the Jets were on the clock. And then Izzy pops up. I was like, no fucking way. So that was an awesome Saturday for me. Moving to the next pick, also in the 5th round, Servassier Dennis joins Kalijah Kancey in Tampa Bay. I thought it was a little late for him to go, kind of like Izzy. Like, he was such an excellent linebacker at Pitt. Everyone raved about how smart he was, but I really think this is going to be another steal for the Bucs.
Yeah. Again, it's like the same thing as Kalijah Kancey. They have a bunch of good linebackers there, so it's like he'll get to go into the league where they've had success at that position and learn from veterans.
Do they still have that LSU linebacker in Tampa? His name escapes me. He's the guy who rode a horse in college.
Yeah.
He's still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good guy to learn from. Moving on to round 6, Eric Hallett was drafted by the Jaguars. I mean, he's a turnover guy. He led the team in turnovers last year with 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. But the real story with Eric Hallett is he sent the Jags a voicemail twice. And then they had to call his mom to inform him he was drafted.
Thank God he put something down for his emergency contact at the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I feel like you hear about one guy doing this every year. There's always that one guy that like just doesn't answer his phone on draft day. This year it happened to be Eric Hallett, but yeah, power move. Honestly, you think that's like he didn't think he was actually going to get drafted, or like, what do you think the situation is? He just ignored it. He saw the Jacksonville area code, said, "Nah, I don't want to go there." Or
no, given the round, I don't think at that point you're kind of like
You're glued to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the longer you wait, the more the anticipation kind of kills. So I feel like it had to be like, I don't know. I would love to hear if we ever get somebody that gets to ask him a question, ask him about that night, because it would be good to know.
Let me see. Let's. I'm going to do some research right now. New York Post.
I saw him quote the Barstool article and just said, like, "We get it, guys." Like, I guess people were just like reporting on that all over the place. But
okay, so it went straight to voicemail twice. So it's unknown if his phone died, if it was off. Maybe he was taking a shit. But they did get a hold of him through.
Not disturb.
You can't be on Do Not Disturb in the NFL draft. You can't.
Yeah. What would have happened? What would have happened if he just didn't? If they didn't get a hold of him? Do you think they would have still drafted him?
He probably would have seen it. I don't think you have to inform the player. You just have to tell the NFL you're taking the guy.
Yeah, but what if they were like, "Oh, he's not even answering our phone calls." Like, next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you either go. It depends. Yeah, you probably have that plan going into it. Like, maybe you don't though, because like, who doesn't answer their phone?
I don't know.
So a Post-Gazette interview says she answered the call, referring to his mom, and looked at me and asked, "Why aren't you answering your phone?" His response, "I had no idea it was ringing." I'm thinking dead phone. Oh, no, it was sent to voicemail. He sent them to voicemail because they were from an unknown number.
Well, okay, to be fair, if some random number with the Duval area code called me, I'd probably send them a voicemail too.
It's not on draft day.
Yeah, it's different. It's different on draft day.
Just not as an NFL draft prospect on NFL draft day. That's probably the one day you pick up a phone call like that.
You know what, Kent? You're right. I think I got to start answering more calls from random numbers. You never know. You never know when it's a GM.
You could win a free trip as long as you give them your social security number. And
hey man, you could have bail that needs to be posted right now in Amazon gift cards. You never know.
Pick up the phone, baby.
We'll actually get to not knowing you've been drafted later. Lastly, the 6th and final pick in the draft was Brandon Hill, safety, going to the Texans in the 7th round. Actually, this is the one pick that I'm surprised made it. I mean, I thought he was sort of a borderline 7th round undrafted free agent guy, but gotta love him going to Texans, where they have D'Amico Ryans, great defensive head coach. Yeah, just I think it's a really good landing spot for him.
Yeah, agreed. They're doing big things down there in Houston, so like they had a pretty fucking good draft. So if anytime your name is like in that association of the other guys taken, that's a win.
Yep. All right, so let's get to the undrafted free agent signings. Deslin Alexander ends up with the New York Jets, joining Carter Warren and Izzy Abanikanda. Haba Baldonado, who, first off, crime he was not drafted, signed with the New York Giants. Gabe Hoy signs with the Chicago Bears, and Jared Wayne also lands in Houston as an undrafted free agent, reuniting with Brandon Hill. Jared Wayne, obviously our guy. I can't think of a bigger quarterback glow up than going from playing with Keaton Slovis senior year to catching balls from CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. The only other notes I had is that Haba Baldonado, I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but he found out in a Twitter post that he got drafted into the CFL, and his response was, "Oh, I didn't even know this. That's pretty cool."
What was that?
Haba Baldonado.
I didn't see that.
Let me see if I can get the exact post. Scrolling. Oh, yeah. Sheesh, I didn't even know. Good to know, though.
He hit him with a sheesh.
The tweet has since been deleted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which that's a tough look. You got to delete your second round draft announcement tweet is is pretty tough.
Why are you going to draft a guy that's going to the NFL? I don't get it.
I think
Isn't
if
it like
he gets-
they have like a weird thing for international players? Like they have more spots. They probably didn't. Yeah, I don't know, Kent. You're right.
They pull the Oakland A's Kyler Murray situation. Just in
Yeah.
case he doesn't want to do that other thing.
I actually think
Consider it.
it's because he's an undrafted free agent. If he doesn't find another NFL team, right? If somehow he doesn't make the roster, doesn't make a practice squad, if he chooses to go play in Canada instead to try and get some tape on himself to go back to the NFL, the Rough Riders then have the rights to exclusively sign him to the CFL.
Why'd they delete the tweet then?
I think they just retweeted it because I found a different one. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully he doesn't play in Canada. I want to see how Baldonado play in the NFL because he is sick and really good.
My biggest want is that I just thought of this now, so I'm not even sure what teams are up for Hard Knocks. But would be really cool to see like one of the teams that Baldonado or Jared Wayne or one of these other undrafted free agents went to be like that root for him story in Hard Knocks.
The Jets are 100% going to be on Hard Knocks this year.
You think?
It's 4 teams that are eligible this year. It's the Jets, the
Jets, Bears, Saints, and Commanders.
And the Saints. You think they're not going to pick the Jets with Rodgers and?
Yeah, they're 100% taking the Jets.
And, yeah, they're not going to have Derek Carr on again. They're not going to do the Commanders.
I think it's between the Jets and Bears, honestly, and it's probably going to be the Jets.
Yeah, it comes down to Jets and Bears, and I think they would definitely choose New York.
There we go. So Alexander, let's.
You got Alexander, you got Izzy, and you got
Carter Warren. You also have Jordan Whitehead on that team as well.
So a lot of opportunities to see some Panthers on Hard Knocks this year.
That's hype.
I picked the logical choice.
That's hype.
Yeah, they're definitely going to take the Jets.
Is he the 4th round running back? Because they're going to talk about how Breece Hall got hurt last year and be like, here's a rookie.
Yep.
Is he Hard Knock star? Coming at you. Breaking news.
Dude, I would love that. I would love that. Also, I just closed it, but quick stats about the draft. I think I mentioned that did I mention the most picks in the ACC stat yet?
I know we talked about it. It might have been before we hit record, but say that shit again. Say it 2 more times.
All right. So, some quick draft stats for you for all you draft heads out there. Pitt had 6 players chosen in this year's draft, which was tied for the most in the ACC with Clemson. Now, over the last 3 years, so that's the last 3 drafts, they've had 14 players picked, which is the most in the ACC over that time period. These 6 players drafted were tied for either 5th or 6th most out of any college in the nation, tied with schools like Ohio State and Penn State. And I did some research. I'm pretty sure did all the facts, got all the facts. Over Narduzzi's tenure, he has something like 26 draft picks over 8 years, which has him solidly in 3rd place over that time period. The only schools he's trailing are Clemson, because of their huge run in the late 2010s, and Florida State. And Florida State only got over the hump because Narduzzi's first year was the year that everyone from that Florida State team got drafted to the NFL.
Good for the Nard dog, man.
Yeah.
Now, if only we could go to the WPIAL and kind of go, hey, we put players in the NFL. You should come here instead of Penn State.
They should. I don't know if you can kind of go to toe-to-toe with Penn State yet. You should definitely be able to tell kids, hey, don't go to WVU. Their first guy selected was in the 5th round this year.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I think you can do that, but they got to start doing that, especially now that Kenny plays right next door. Players always talk about how you can just look at Steelers practices and learn shit from them. that's got to be a tactic they can use in their recruiting arsenal at this point.
It should be. It definitely should be, especially for those like, all right, maybe not the 5 stars because you kind of know that barring anything crazy in college, like you'll probably be league bound. But for those 3 and 4 star guys that are on the fence, like come to a place where we can develop talent and get you there.
Yep, I 100% agree.
Hire me, dudes. I'll fucking recruit them.
That's got to be it's got to be a fun job, but that's going to be a pretty shit job. Being like a recruiter.
Yeah.
I had this thought the other day, like, do you ever think like a recruiter, like, because obviously everything's done over text now. I think they like double text and triple text recruits, like, hey man, like, I've had so much fun talking to you. Why don't you come over to my place? Get you over for a campus visit.
It's just Tinder. It's just Tinder now.
It's Tinder now. You're sending your 8-ball requests. You're comparing Wordle scores.
Yeah. Game pigeon.
All right. Now that we're done with the 2023 draft, let's do everyone's favorite activity. Way too early 2024 mocks. We're not doing a full mock, but we're going to give you who we think could have their name called next year. Mason, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll take the low hanging fruit. I'll take the easy pick. Everybody likes to talk about quarterbacks, even Tucker Carlson. I think that Phil is going to have another standout year, reunited with Signetti. Even though the quarterback class is much stronger next year, I think that with some of the guys you saw taken this year, like Stetson Bennett, like Sean Clifford, a lot of these guys just getting a chance on a roster, and I think he'll do enough this year that he'll, maybe Mr. Irrelevant or something like that.
Yeah, I think teams are almost – I think it's the Brock Purdy effect, right, where you're seeing teams just take flyers on guys willy-nilly in the draft. Like Aiden O'Connell got an NFL draft call. So, I mean, honestly, if Phil Dracovic gets drafted, something went right for the Pitt Panthers this year. Yeah. So, I like that take. It's optimistic. Gotta love it.
Yes, definitely an optimistic take. But, I mean, you got the size, too. They look like that's a huge thing in the NFL. 6'5", if he shows a little bit of something, little bit of movement with the legs, a little bit of the arm. You never know.
Yeah. So I'll go next. My first guy is Jake Cradle, and that's just because I kind of forgot about this until today when I posted that tweet and everyone yelled at me for not including him. But Jake Cradle has been here for a very long time. He's pretty much been starting for 3 or 4 years. He's starting all over the offensive line. He's super versatile inside and outside as a player. So I think sort of another, maybe not day one pick, maybe a day one pick, I don't know, but just a guy who has a ton of starting experience will usually get a call for the NFL draft. Like you see it all the time with Big Ten offensive linemen, and the number one like repeating quality they have is just a ton of starts.
Can't teach experience.
Yep.
My first pick is going to be Gavin Bartholomew for sure. I think he's definitely draft caliber after this year. He's got the size, the hands, the speed. He's got everything you want out of a potential very good NFL tight end. Excited to see him this year. I hope they use him a little bit more. He can kind of go back to kind of the way he was a couple of years ago. More targets, more catches. Would love to see that this year for him. You see what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. Tennessee game, for example.
I was just saying, you already know that's going to be the first when his name gets called. Hurdle play is going to be the first play they show.
Without a doubt.
That was one of the sickest plays I've ever seen in person. So
yeah. Fake slide.
It's fake slide. That hurdle. Both very much up there.
All right, Mason, back to you.
Yeah, and then other one I have on my watch list is going to be Dayon Hayes. Talked a lot about Kalijah Cansey today. He's going to be kind of the guy stepping into that role there. I believe he's in his senior year, going into his senior year in this fall. So kind of be a leader on that D line. And I think a lot of these NFL scouts are kind of going to look at what Kalijah Cansey does this year, what some of these other D linemen from Pitt in the recent years have come out have done, and he's going to be a guy that's kind of on their radar.
I agree with that take. Definitely agree. My next pick is going to be Bengali Kamara, sort of with the same thought process as Mason. Is that he's not a middle linebacker in our defense, at least I don't believe so. But if Servat Dennis does well in Tampa, it's going to add to his value quite a bit. And also, he is a really athletic player and is a very, very fast linebacker, which the NFL loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next on my watch list, I'll go with Marquez Williams. Huge playmaker this year. This past year, honorable mention All ACC. I would love to see him make an All ACC team. Plenty of Pitt DBs that have gone before him in the later rounds. So I think he's very much in the conversation as another one of those guys that can get drafted and make an NFL team and be a good player.
For sure. Yeah, if he takes that next step from honorable mention to first or second team, like that's going to be good for his stock.
I agree. So guys, we didn't mention, just want a quick shout out to MJ Devonshire. Definitely. So kind of the same reason for Kent. Just Pitt D-backs, always a good pick in the league. There's so many out there. Mac Salvez, one of our offensive tackles, he was, I believe, third team All ACC last year. So getting sort of recognition like that only sort of props his prospects up more. And then I wonder how it's going to shape up with sort of the stable of running backs we have. But there's a decent chance if Rodney Hammond has not Izzy's year exactly, but if he has a good year similar like Izzy, where he's getting a ton of yards per carry and like explosive plays, he might hear his name called as well.
Yeah, if he scores 6 touchdowns in a game, that's enough to take him. I would hope.
You would hope, right? All right. So we look forward to next year's draft. Let's look a little bit farther to the official college football playoff schedule for the expanded 12-team playoff. This is going to happen in the 24-25 season, so not at the end of next season, but the end of the season after that. So have you guys seen anything about this yet?
I've seen like the kind of like the bracket, so to say. It's like what we expected, but it's like one of those things where they've been talking about it for so long, but it's like kind of finally here. Like it feels real now, and it feels awesome.
So we'll start off, obviously 12 teams. The first round is 4 games. They're all going to be played on campus, which is a huge plus, which is awesome. So those are going to be played Friday and Saturday, 1 Friday game and 3 on Saturday, which I love. I think you're not in the NFL playoffs yet, so you're not competing for slot times, and love the on-campus games. I don't think I have any issues with that.
No. Shout out to the NCAA for actually making a good choice and keeping these games on campuses. It's going to be absolutely fucking electric.
Yep.
Is there a reason they didn't do it starting this year?
I think just purely logistics of changing all that. I imagine there's probably a bunch of red tape, but yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough.
It might also have to do with the contracts with like bowls and other things like that. But so this is just for 24. So the quarterfinals are where it gets a little weird. They're going to have 1 quarterfinal on New Year's Eve, which is a Tuesday, is the Fiesta Bowl. Then 3 on New Year's Day on a Wednesday, which is Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl. So I am of 2 minds with this. One, why are the games on Tuesday and Wednesday? Like, I'm probably not going to be able to watch Sugar Bowl because it's going to be on at like 8 at night. But also, that's going to be like 5 straight days of football. between college football and NFL at that point.
Well,
Are you complaining about 5 straight days of
No.
football?
I'm not complaining about 5 straight days of football. I'm like usually it's like meaningless bowl games are on a Tuesday, Wednesday. Not actually. No, you're
you
off from work.
say you couldn't watch a game because it's going to be on at 8 p.m.
Dude, I get up at like 5:15, dude.
You just said it's on New Year's Eve though.
No. The late game would be on New Year's Day, the Wednesday.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. I am though looking forward to the possibility of just 5 straight days of football, which is awesome.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's Tuesday and Wednesday because it's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You got to have football on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I'm wondering though if New Year's were to fall on a weekend again, would they go head to head with the NFL? That's the real question because the first 2 years are they're both on weekdays. Like New Year's Day is on a Wednesday in 2025 and a Thursday in 2026. I wonder what happens when you have a New Year's that comes on a weekend. So I think that's something to keep your eye out for. The semis are totally moved off the weekends. They're going to be the next week, Thursday, Friday, which I don't love. I kind of wish these games are on the weekends, but I also get it that you're not going to poke the beast with the NFL. Like that's just a non-negotiable thing.
Yeah. Again, it'll give us another,
full football weekend.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, the championship is still on a Monday, which I fucking hate. I hate the championship being on a Monday, man. It should be on a Saturday. It's like I feel like for your championship game, you should be able to work with the NFL, say, hey, we'll be the Saturday night game. Do you move a playoff game to Monday? Which I'm sure the NFL would not hate at all to have another day of playoff football. But I personally hate the Monday night championship. Like I said, it's on a Monday. I get sleepy in the second half. I got to wake up for work the next day.
Time to move to the West Coast, buddy.
I mean, really, it must be so nice to be a West Coast football fan.
Sleeping Zach. Are we going to mention the other rule that college football changed before I forget about this?
Which one?
Later. The clock after first downs no longer stops.
Oh, only
the last 2 minutes of each half. So the clock will roll.
I think we talked about it last episode.
I don't remember talking about it, but as long as it does the last 2 minutes, I'm fine with it because that's where all the magic happens anyway.
I would prefer if it was like more than 2 minutes, like
maybe
5 minutes.
4 or 5. Yeah, no, I could use a little bit more. I agree.
I feel like that was like one of the things I kind of liked about college football.
You get so many more comebacks and
it's going to shorten the games. The games probably won't be 4 or 5 hours anymore, but
so yeah, it's like I agree with like you that the clock stopping a first down was something about college football that I liked. I understand why they did it, but the real issue is just having a 3-minute ad break every 7 minutes, which really made the games a lot longer than they should be. That's my main issue. I think the consecutive timeouts rule was a good change. You can't do consecutive timeouts anymore. The other one was about penalties carrying over from the first to the second quarter, like third to fourth, which I don't hate either, but I kind of agree with you that it feels a little unnecessary, even though it will speed up the games. It's just just have less annoying ads on your games.
Follow the money. They're never gonna.
No, they're never gonna do it.
yeah.
I mean, listen, when you've seen one tactile flashlight commercial, you've seen them all.
That's what the MLB did, and they were like, "Oh, we got to do something." So, no, you didn't.
Yeah. You know what? Let's blame baseball. That's easy. We're gonna blame baseball.
Beer sales till the end of the 8th inning now.
Now that
When did they shut him down at Heinz? Do they stop ever?
Probably at the end of the third quarter or something.
I think end of the third, yeah.
Now it's going to be the end of the fourth.
It's time for some fourth quarter beers, boys. That's all I'm saying.
You got to think when a game goes to overtime, they're really kicking themselves, just like, man, we could have sold so much more beer.
The last 2 minutes, because the beer doesn't stop if the clock doesn't stop.
Damn straight.
When did Heinz stop selling beer?
It might be different college versus NFL, too. I don't really know.
I think I brought up the college.
Ravens games, I feel like they stop early. I don't know if it's like a universal NFL rule to stop serving at a certain time or if it's stadium by stadium.
I do not see a stop time. I don't know. If anyone knows, DM the pod, because I don't.
We're doing some detective sleuthing.
Some people are upset about the later beer sales in baseball right now, so that might get changed. I don't know. Something to consider.
Follow the money, baby. They're not changing that.
They don't want people drinking that close to when they're actually supposed to be driving home.
They don't want a white boy like me drinking too many beers.
Oh, look at baseball trying to be the sauce police now. Who gave you the right?
Listen, if I want to drink a beer and then walk home, I'll do it. All right.
You should be able to prove that you walk to the stadium and then you get like a ninth inning beer card.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I mean, dude, what if you just like flashed your ID and it's like, oh, my house is within like a 20-minute walk. Give me a beer
for free.
Yeah, you get a walking beer. Dude, just greatest Earth Day promotion of all time. If you walk to the stadium, you get a free beer.
Yeah, because lowered my carbon footprint. So,
yeah,
nice cold Miller Lite, please.
I think this conversation means you're out of things to talk about officially.
Where would you draft a beer? I say late second round.
Whoa. Number 1 overall. Nice cold beer, number 1 overall.
I draft this weekend because if I have a second round pick on Friday, I'm going with a margarita because it's Cinco de Mayo.
Let's go.
Give me a margarita in the second, a Corona in the third.
Now, are you trading up for a lime?
Yeah. That was part of a free a blockbuster deal. We acquired Aaron Rodgers. We sent them a Corona with a lime.
And you know what? If that was the case, Jets fans would still say they gave up too much. All right. This has been Semple Fi Podcast. Thank you for listening. You can follow the show on Twitter at Semple Fi Pod. I think we're almost at 200 followers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're close enough. We're almost at 200. So make sure
subscribe.
Follow and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell someone you see on the street. Tell your doctor. I don't know. Fuck it. They could be a Pitt football fan.
Yeah.
And with that, I've been your host, Zach Kaminsky. I've been joined by my co-hosts, Mason Fling and Kent Vanderwood. And to sign us off tonight, I'm going to remind you that Pitt had 6 draft picks and West Virginia had 1.
Hail to Pitt.
Let's go.